Hey folks, it's Patriot Nurse. Thank you for joining me today. In this segment, we're going to discuss what we should be doing in the lead up to the election over the next couple of weeks. So beans, bullets, and band-aids, these are the things that we are used to focusing on, but I want to give us a refresher and kind of some points here that we can focus on just to make sure that we are squared away and dialed in the lead up to what could potentially be friction in the United States. That's a good diplomatic way to put it. Friction. Beans, bullets, and band-aids. For the average person, the ability to defend themselves is going to be right up there with just about everything else. It doesn't matter how many band-aids you got and how awesome your skills are and how much food you've got. If you don't have the ability to defend yourself, then you're behind the power curve. So ideally, I would want you to at least have an ability to defend yourself, usually with a sidearm or a long gun, a rifle. And my focus on this in particular is if you have a rifle, it needs to be looped and zeroed, and you need to know where your point of aim, point of impact is for the rounds that you're using here. A lot of people will make this mistake that they'll zero their rifle for a particular load, but their go-to game time load is a different load. That's cool, but you need to know where that load hits. A lot of people are really blessed in that, at least my rifle's that way, that my practice ammo is pretty much the same point of aim, point of impact as game time ammo. So you want to know generally where your ammo is and where it's going to hit. The second thing is we need to make sure that that weapon is clean and that weapon is lubed. This is a good week to do your maintenance if you haven't done your maintenance. We want to make sure that everything is where it needs to be and that the parts of the rifle that are clean, or your pistol, the parts of the pistol that need to be cleaned and lubed are regularly cleaned and lubed. And it doesn't have to be like the white glove treatment, but we just need to make sure that there's the little dust bunnies are out of there. For those of you who carry a pistol every day, you're going to know there's sweat, there's lint, there's all that stuff that gets stuck up in there. So let's take the opportunity to take the pistol out, unload it, inspect it, and then make sure, of course, it's unloaded and do our maintenance on it. But I don't want to spend too much time on this because this is, unfortunately, this is sort of remedial gun ownership. But, if common sense were common, everybody would have it. So we need to make sure that we have a lubed, clean, and zeroed rifle for sure, and definitely make sure that your sidearm, that your pistols are good to go also. Dry practice is another thing. And some people might say that this is a little bit extreme. We're living in extreme times. Like this, we are in extreme times. So the whole Pollyannish worldview, save that for some other time. When you consider the actions of the past year, the circumstances that we're in, if you'd have told me 10 years ago, well, I would have believed you because 10 years ago I was doing this channel. But for a lot of people, if you would have told them 10 years ago that this is the new reality, the new norm, they wouldn't have believed you. But here we are. So we did the bullet standpoint, the beans. All over the world, and for sure here in the United States, the rates of the Rona are going up as far as the new infection. Now, actually, NPR, of all people, NPR released an article this week, which I'll link to down below. Yes, the rate is going up, but the overall mortality of the caseloads is going down significantly. So that's definitely what we want to see. And I'm not a big person and fan of vaccines, and especially forced vaccination. That's not going to happen. Not in my world. Nope, not going to happen. I will not be a good little serf, and I will not comply. But for sure, over the next few weeks, as the rate is going to continue to go, it's going to go up. You're probably going to see a lot of places renew lockdowns, which would be just perfectly appropriate right in time for the election. We need to make sure that we've got those basics stored up. Like, for instance, your carbohydrate sources, your macronutrients, your carbohydrates, your fats, your proteins, the things that you know that you're going to need. We want to make sure that we've got those ahead of time. Now, I know a lot of people are on a tight budget right now. So if you've got like a grocery outlet in your area, that may be something you want to consider frequenting or visiting, because sometimes these places will have deep discounted foods and maybe they're close to their expiration date. But expiration date isn't even the right word. Their best buy date. Like, food is still good after that, provided that the labels and the cans and the packaging is still intact. So consider sourcing a discount grocery store near you and frequenting that if you're looking at ways to pad your supply. Band-aids. All right, we are coming up on flu season, on respiratory, cough, cold, all of that stuff. and I've made videos about this in the past on like how to get ready for flu season, etc. There are a few things that I really like. The first is the Dr. Christopher's lung and bronchial formula to help support the good health of the respiratory tract. And I'll put links to all this down below so that way you got it. The lung and bronchial formula is a fantastic way to support the respiratory system and help keep the lungs and the airway, the passageways free and functioning. And if this is something that's particularly an issue with your family, you may want to consider having this as well. The Indian, the boiled wild cherry bark. Yeah, the Indian wild cherry bark mixture that I have. All of this stuff. See, here's the thing. Like, I get to making these videos and then I'm like, oh, my product's over there and my microphone is attached to here, so I can't just unhook it. But the wild cherry bark, you need to have that. You've got to have a store of that in your house for sure. And I'll put a link down there below. I don't care where you get it from. I'm just linking here so that way you can see this is what it looks like, and these are reviews if you are so inclined. Definitely want that because it's probably the best cough suppressant of anything over the counter that I've ever found, and it is not as hard on the system as dextromethorphan, which is the #1 ingredient in Delsym. And so these are things that I want to consider having as well. But also, guys, when it comes right down to it, you need to be able to problem solve your way through things. If stuff goes really crazy, the last place that I want to be is at like dark 30 going into an area where there could potentially be rioting or people are burning things or whatever it is because I got a family member who's sick and they need the advanced medical services, and I could have made this deduction far earlier on in the process, but because I lacked assessment skills, I wasn't able to make that decision in a timely manner. This is one of the reasons why I released the online course, the 4-hour online course at patriotnurseacademy.com. I got a link down below. It's $129 for 4 hours, and you get the downloadable workbook that you can work on yourself so you have a hard copy. You need to know how to assess your family. You have to have these skills. At a bare minimum, this is going to help you determine, do I need to go? Can I stay? If I see this, what do I need to do about it? What are my objectives in trying to manage things at home if, for instance, it is not safe or it is not, for whatever reason, it's not attainable for me to seek advanced medical care? What do I do with what I'm seeing in front of me? So that's one of the reasons why I've released this class this year, because of everything going on, but I definitely felt like the Lord wanted me to do it. I prayed about it. I fought it for a long time. And those of you guys who supported me in prayer throughout that whole creative process, thank you so much. I definitely appreciate it. Guys, these next few weeks are going to be very interesting. Particular note, this has nothing to, well, perhaps nothing to do with our election here in the United States. Yesterday, the Defense Department gave the nod, the go-ahead, to almost a $2 billion, with a B, billion-dollar arms sale to Taiwan. And I'll put a link down here below so that way you can see it. The stuff that was approved to be sold to Taiwan, China, mainland China, the Chicoms are not thrilled about them getting. And it's obviously in our national strategic interest to support Taiwan as the little burning light in that area of democratic and representative government. But considering the way that things are going, and I've been saying this for a while, and other people have said it as well, the potentiality of war with China, or for sure escalating tensions in the Pacific, that is a specter that is real and closing in the rearview mirror. So if that were to manifest at some point, either around, during, or shortly after the election, I want to have all of my stuff squared away ahead of time. I don't know at this point, early on in the timeline, how likely it is for that to occur before the end of this year, but I can tell you that if I was a malevolent Chicom and I decided that I wanted to crack down on domestic dissidents and non-political supporters, and I wanted to take advantage of the opportunity to make major land grabs and moves in the Pacific, can't think of any better time than a disputed American election, which may or may not show up. So just kind of keep your head on a swivel here, guys. If for whatever reason there are escalating tensions in the Pacific to the degree that I think possibly could be, that's like, you thought that the Rona supply line disruptions were problematic. We ain't seen nothing yet if that ended up happening within the next year to 2 years, because the supply lines themselves are already really rattled because of the Rona. But when you put that on the table as well, not a good scenario. So I don't say this obviously to make people afraid. That's not my game. I don't enjoy making people afeared, because God has not given us a spirit of fear, but a spirit of power and of love and of a sound mind. Power, love, and a sound mind. And we move through these things intelligently. We know our flocks, like it says in the book of Proverbs. We look at the data in front of us. We try and make good decisions based on the controllable factors that we have in our own lives. I can't control what Taiwan does or China does. I can't control things like that. All I can control, all you and I can control, is what is within our immediate sphere of influence. And that's ourselves, our family, our homes, our extended family, and our communities. And so for that reason, I would encourage us that in the days to come, have good conversations with your family and your friends, have a communications plan, have some idea how you're going to get together if there was a disruption in normal mechanisms of communication. And then also make sure you are zeroed and lubed and that your weapons are in the state that you want them. Because, I don't want this to happen, obviously. But the time to prepare is beforehand. If the moment of your, and my, God forbid, but if the moment of our testing comes, we need to be ready and not be scrambling, trying to figure stuff out and just wishing, man, I wish I would have lubed it. Man, I wish I would have zeroed this before now. Get ready ahead of time. I hope that was helpful for y'all today. If you did enjoy the video, I hope you'll subscribe to me here on YouTube, Patriot Nurse. You can also support me on Patreon, Subscribestar, Cryptocurrency, and PayPal. I got links down there in the description box below. Oh, Lord. Guys, the next few weeks are going to be fun, I think. Hopefully they'll be chill. I'm hopeful for a peaceful transition of power. But I know at the end of the day that my destiny and the destiny of our country, all of this is in the Lord's hands. And so we can practice quietness of heart and faith with action steps. Optimistic pragmatism is the way to go. May the Lord bless and keep y'all. Have a wonderful weekend. For now, it's Patriot Nurse signing off, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.